What's going on, everybody? Jason here, and today I've got the all-new 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. Right before we jump into this Grand Cherokee, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the like button if you are enjoying these types of reviews. It does help out the channel a lot, and it also helps with the YouTube algorithm. That being said, let's jump straight into the 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited and see what it's all about. Just like the older body style Grand Cherokees, the trims still pretty much stay the same. You've got your Laredo, you've got the Limited, which you're looking at right now, the Trailhawk, Overland, Summit, and now you have the Summit Reserve as well. Now, when it comes to the standard safety features on the Grand Cherokee Limiteds, you are going to be getting quite a bit. That includes your active lane management system, adaptive cruise control with stop and go, blind spot rear cross path detection, full speed forward collision warning, park sense rear park assist system, and your pedestrian cyclist emergency braking. Starting off in the front of this Grand Cherokee, you can see that it looks exactly like the Grand Cherokee Ls, but there are a few differences. As you can see in the front, it looks completely different, especially from the bottom section of the bumper area compared to the Grand Cherokee L. So this does have a similar style to the Grand Cherokee L, but obviously its own unique styling as well when it comes to just the Grand Cherokees. Over on the bottom section of the bumper, you have this black plastic piece that goes all across the side of the vehicle, the rear, all over the vehicle on the bottom portion. You've got some meshing and the grille area along with your front sensor for all of your safety features, of course. And this middle section, like I was mentioning, how it's different from the Grand Cherokee L is this is a little bit more rounded off compared to the Grand Cherokee Ls where it's more squared off. You've also got this section underneath your fog lights on both sides, and you'll notice a lot of chrome exterior accent pieces on this, especially on the bumper. You see under the fog lights, these are your LED fog lights. And then you move up into the grille area, you've got the iconic 7-slot Jeep grille with more of that meshing style grille along with your chrome accent bezeling all around the 7 grills. And you also have this chrome piece that goes underneath from each of the headlights, which is a very unique touch. And you can't forget about these beautifully styled LED headlamps, which of course are from the Grand Cherokee Ls, but they look very nice. Coming over to the side of the Grand Cherokee, here you'll notice the major difference from this to the Grand Cherokee L, where this one is a 5-seater and the Grand Cherokee L is a little bit more bigger in the rear. But as you can see, along your wheel wells and the bottom section of the vehicle, you've got more of that black trim piece, the plastic piece that I was mentioning in the front. You've also got your body color door handles along with these nice looking gloss black side mirrors with the turn signal built in, and they also have this little chrome piece as well. You've also got gloss black roof rails with some chrome in them as well. As for your wheels, typically you would get 18-inch full painted aluminum wheels on the Grand Cherokee Limited, but for this particular one, it does have your upgraded 20-inch polished aluminum wheels, which I think look way better. And then also you can't forget about your Grand Cherokee badging on the doors. Making your way to the rear of the Grand Cherokee Limited, starting off at the bottom, you've got more of that black plastic trim, and in the center there you've got your hitch hidden away underneath the cover. You've got a little bit more chrome bezeling, trim piece, whatever you want to say, right above that. And then you have sensors built in, like I mentioned, for your safety features for the park sense rear park assist. On the actual tailgate, now this is a power lift gate. Why wouldn't it be? All of your badging, your 4x4 Jeep and your Limited badging is all in chrome. And I love how they did the whole designing of the rear tail lights. These are your LED tail lights, just like the front LED fog lights and the headlamps. But something particular on this one, I love how it ties into the middle section where it's kind of a gloss black finish. So in a way, it looks like one big tail light piece. Another thing that I love about the designing of this is if you take a look at the rear windows, it kind of swoops around into the rear window. Once you go ahead and open up the tailgate, you'll see that you have a ton of room in this Grand Cherokee, and that's obviously because this has no third row, so that gets eliminated, and that gives you that extra space at the back that you definitely need. Also, just like any other vehicle, you can fold down your rear seats and have even more space in the back. The amount of space that you have in this is actually a little bit more than the previous old style. If you look closer inside, the only other thing that you have is your tailgate button right up top, and then your 12-volt adapter in the rear and some cubby space at the bottom. And on the other side, you do have a speaker back here. Now, this is the upgraded sound system, which I will touch on once we head into the front. If you go ahead and lift up this bottom section here, this will expose a spare tire in the vehicle, along with your car jack and all of the safety stuff that you may need on the roadside. Entering into the rear of the Grand Cherokee Limited, as you can see, it looks stunning. I'll start off at the bottom. There you've got a little bit of space to put small little items, and for a cup holder, you've got 2 speakers on your doors, and then you have a mixture of this black plastic and then your leather across your armrest, and in the middle section there, you do have this nice looking wood trim piece that is throughout the whole interior cabin. You also notice inside a ton of satin chrome interior accent pieces. Just like how it was on the exterior, the interior is just a satin finish, which also complements the interior. As for your rear seats, these are fully leather seats, just like the front ones, which I'll cover. Now, they may just look like a simple setup of seats with leather on it, but you do have this nice white stitching, and these seats are actually very comfortable, even though it's just a regular Grand Cherokee. And a great thing when it comes to the Grand Cherokee Limited is that standard, you get rear heated seats. Pulling down the center handrest, this will expose 2 cup holders for the rear passengers. Behind the passenger and driver seat, these are fully leather seats, but the half section at the back is in plastic, but you do have this netting for your mat pockets and additional storage in the back. You've also got this nice looking rear center console area with some room up top to put a phone or a wallet, just something small. You've got your venting underneath, and then you have your 115 volt plug at the bottom with never ending USB ports and your buttons for the rear heated seats. Now, heading into the front of the Grand Cherokee Limited, it's exactly like the rear that I've shown you, just a little bit more space at the bottom area. Now, as for the speakers, like I was mentioning, typically standard you'll get 6 speaker setup, but this one has the 10.1 inch touchscreen, which upgrades it to the 9 Alpine speakers with the subwoofer that you saw in the back. And then you've got more of the leather trim around your window controls and side mirror controls, along with that beautiful wood trim and the satin chrome accents, and your driver's seat is memory seating. As for your front seats, just like the rear, these are also fully leather with that beautiful white stitching. In terms of the interior color combinations that you can get these exact leather seats or leather seats with perforated inserts, and whichever one you choose, you can either get them in black on black, which this one is, or with the black wicker beige interior. And also the front seats are also heated, just like the rear seats. Another standard feature that comes with the front seats are both of the front seats are power seats, which is so convenient. Over at the bottom, nothing too special, just your foot pedals, and then you've got your hood latch release and your electronic parking brake. Right above that, you've got your typical lighting controls and then your front fog light controls, along with your dimmers right beside that. As for the steering wheel, this is a manual adjustable steering wheel. Entering into the Grand Cherokee Limited, you've got this huge soft leather piece with the white stitching, and then by your front window, you've got kind of this nice pattern design plastic piece with speakers on both corners and in the center. Now, when it comes to your center gauge cluster, this is a fully digital gauge cluster, which is amazing. It's exactly like the Grand Cherokee L's, where you can have 2 options when it comes to your tachymeter and your speed. You can display it like this or in an analog option as well. You've also got a ton of different things that you can have in front of you in here. Just like any vehicle, pretty much, you have tons of options which are at your fingertips. You can see your tire pressure, your fluids, whatever you want to see, you have the ability to see it in this digital gauge cluster. As for the steering wheel, this is a fully leather wrapped steering wheel, and it's also heated. Plus, you've got more of that wood trim and the satin accent chrome interior accent pieces on it as well. On the left side of the steering wheel, you've got controls for your center digital gauge cluster like I've shown you, and then beside that you do have your Bluetooth buttons, and that center button there brings up kind of a shortcut menu that you can kind of flick through and change different settings. Over on the right side of the steering wheel, you've got all of your cruise control settings, your adaptive cruise control and whatnot. Also, if you look closely behind the steering wheel, this does have paddle shifters, but if you look further behind on the left side, you do have your typical high beam controls and your indicator controls, and on the right side behind the steering wheel, you've got your typical front and rear windshield wiper controls and your fluid controls. I love how they made the push start button. It's surrounded by this nice chrome, satin chrome bezeling now, which just makes it pop even more, with that background being the whole wood and everything. As for your center handrest, this is a fully leather handrest and more of that white stitching. This does have 2 sections, so if you go ahead and open up the first one, there is a decent amount of room in there, nothing too crazy. You can put small little items, but if you go ahead and open up the second section, this gives you a little bit more storage, a little bit more deeper storage actually. So you have a ton more room in there. Looking in front of your center handrest, you have this whole center section in gloss black. And yes, this will be a dust magnet and a fingerprint magnet, so have a microfiber cloth ready. But in the first section, you do have your front cup holders, and these are illuminated cup holders at night. And moving further up, you do have your rotary shifter along with your different select terrain modes. You've got sand, mud, snow, auto, and sport. And above that, if you open up that section, this will give you more additional storage in there, along with more USB ports for the front, your aux cable, and a 12-volt adapter. Above all of that, you've got your typical heating and cooling temperature control buttons. You've got your radio controls, volume knobs, and then you also have your heated seat buttons and your heated steering wheel button. And then you've got your upgraded 10.1-inch touchscreen, because typically you would only get a 8.4-inch touchscreen on this, but this one, like I was mentioning, has the upgraded stuff. So this gives you the Alpine speakers, navigation, Apple and Google CarPlay, and all of that stuff. So something nice about this 10.1-inch touchscreen is that it has the new Uconnect 5 system, which is so much better than the previous one, because you can do a lot of stuff on this. Like on your homepage, if you go to my pages, you can add pages, and then also you can change your home screen layout. There's a bunch of different ones you can choose from. And then under your media section, you've got your typical AM, FM, Sirius XM, but like I was mentioning, your Apple CarPlay, Google Android Auto, you can now, with the Uconnect 5 system, wirelessly connect all of that. Under your comfort settings here, you can also control your heating and cooling system, heated seats, heated steering wheel, or you can use the actual touch buttons underneath. Under your navigation, as you can see, this is a beautiful navigation setup now with the Uconnect 5 system. Also, if you're low on gas, this will now let you know what gas stations are around you. Under your phone settings, not only can you pair a phone, of course, but now you can pair up to 2 phones at the same time. Under your vehicle tab here, you will have access to your settings, controls, and your off-road section. Under your controls, you can access your rear view camera. And then once you go into the off-road pages and hit the launch off-road pages, here you'll be able to see a bunch of different information about your Grand Cherokee Limited, like your vehicle dynamics, your steering angle, transfer case, and then you have your accessory gauges. Here you can see all of your coolant temperature, oil temperature, and all of that good stuff. You've also got your pitch and roll, so if you're definitely going off-roading in this, it'll let you know how much you're tilted and whatnot. And then you have your select terrain system. Like I was mentioning, you have different modes. Depending on which mode you put it in, this image will change accordingly. Finally, once you go into your app section, here you have a bunch of different applications about the vehicle. You've also got Alexa built in now, and you can also control the ambient LED interior lighting that this Grand Cherokee Limited comes with. And you'll notice this bar at the top of the screen. This is a touch bar, so whatever you press will bring out a shortcut menu. Above your screen, you've got a bunch more buttons. So from the right side, you've got your parking sensor button right there. You can turn on and off. You've got your 4-ways, you've got your traction control, your lane departure button, and then your auto stop start button as well. Above that, nothing too crazy, just your rear view mirror there. But looking further up on your console area, here you've got your typical interior dome lighting controls, your tailgate open and close button, assist and SOS, and then you've got your sunroof controls as well, and then your sunshade control as well. This vehicle does have the upgraded dual panoramic sunroof, which I think is a must-have in any vehicle. Coming over to the passenger side, in your glove department, you have a decent amount of room again. Nothing too crazy, but you have, as you can see, you can put quite a bit of stuff in there. As for the key fob, again, it's exactly like the Grand Cherokee L one. You've got your unlock button, lock button, remote start, your tailgate button, and then your panic button. On the rear of the key fob, you've just got your Jeep logo lettering right there. As for what powers this Grand Cherokee Limited, this one only comes in the 3.6 liter Pentastar V6 engine option, which is going to give you 293 horsepower with 260 foot-pound of torque. And when it comes to towing, when obviously you're equipped right with the right stuff, you're able to tow up to 6,200 pounds. And here is the window sticker for the 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. You've got your basic information there of the vehicle, exterior, interior, engine options, and whatnot. You've got a ton of standard equipment that comes with the Grand Cherokee Limited, and then you've got your optional equipment. As you can see, it doesn't have too much, but there's a lot more that you can get when it comes to the Grand Cherokee Limited, and then you've got your pricing at the bottom. Now this is in Canadian dollars and minus any dealer discounts or manufacturing discounts if they are being offered. Well, that does it for this all new 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. Let me know in the comments down below, do you love this or do you hate it?